As we all work hard to navigate the new normal we find ourselves in, the Marilyn Denis Show has found a new way to bring you the same fun and exciting content in a brand new way with a podcast. Marilyn Denis joins me now down the line from her home studio. Now, Marilyn, you're no stranger to the airways, but talk to me about why you wanted to launch a podcast.
Well, we were in isolation. Hey, guess what? New normal, isolation. And they had talked to me about doing one a long time ago, but I thought, I don't think I really have the time to do it. And so being at home, they had said to me, what do you think? I said, it's time to do it. And that's where it began. So I do the Chum Morning Show in Toronto down in the basement. I do my podcast down in the basement. And I do the Marilyn Denis Show from my living room. It's a little broadcaster's dream come true.
It really is. The home studio has become such a thing. You've already had some really amazing guests like family therapist Joe Rich and one of my personal favorites, TV personality Carson Creasley, to name a few. But any hints on who else is coming up? A little bit of a teaser for people.
Sure. We also had Andrea Martin on, but we've got Carson Creasley, as you mentioned, but we have Scott McGilvery's coming up. We have Matthew Hussey, who's the dating guru. He's coming to visit us online from his house in New York. We have Jamie Oliver is going to be eventually joining us too from his place in Essex. So, as the time goes by and people go, oh, you have a podcast? Sure, because, we'd love to do it. So we're just booking them right now because it's just only about maybe a week and a half old. So we're lining up the guests. But Scott McGilvery is going to be a lot of fun. I get to talk to him tomorrow, and you'll hear that on Friday.
Can't wait. Now, some of the topics you guys are covering, everything from lifestyle to fashion, but what else are you going to be talking to everybody about?
Well, it depends on what their lane is, what their expertise is. For example, with Joe Rich, as you mentioned, family therapist, we started off with him because it's about isolation and living alone and or living with a family. How do you deal with all that and how to bring together your children and living this new normal. Andrea Martin was just about how, really the people on Broadway, she's a 2-time Tony Award winner, how they are doing a lot of fundraising for the Broadway community, for the Actors Equity Fund, and for Canadians too. And then Carson was just, from his beautiful farm in Pennsylvania, just talking about RuPaul's Drag Race and also how he is, maintaining and how he's managing his time at home. Yeah.
Grace, one of my favorite shows. Now, talking about cameos, will your husband Jim be making any special appearances? Maybe walking by in the background. We've seen lots of funny videos of that happening with a lot of these home shows.
He just answered the door to pick up something that somebody left a package outside. You dismissed him by about 4 minutes. But my husband is a frontliner. He's an anesthesiologist, so today he is home. So that's a very different kind of spin on how we are navigating through all of this. But yes, I'm going to have to have him on a podcast. Come on.
Of course, right? And we thank him for all the hard work he's doing along with all of our frontline workers. When it comes to how people find the podcast, how can they find it so they can listen to all these great interviews?
Sure. Well, I always say iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio is where to go. And once you get that app, there's so many other great shows on there too. It's Marilyn Denis Does a Podcast. I'm going to plug my friend Roger Ashby's Oldie Show. My friend Roger, I did the radio show with him for 34 years, and he's an expert when it comes to oldies, so that's fun too. But Marilyn Denis Does a Podcast, iHeartRadio. That's a great place to find it.
I love it. And last but not least, when does the Marilyn Denis Show return to a TV screen near you? I know it's coming up.
Tomorrow.
There we go. That's perfect. Marilyn, thank you so much for the update. We will be tuning in on our screens and then with the podcast. Please stay safe out there.
You too. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Marilyn. That's Marilyn Denis joining us down the line from Toronto, Ontario.